What's up, Nova Heads? It's Amber Nova.
This is Chris Lights Out Lytle.
Hi, this is Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Ice Boogie.
It's the real and raw August Artois.
This is Smiling Sam Alvey.
It's Archimedes.
I'm Jack Cartwheel, the real deal, the human highlight reel.
This is Steve Murray.
I'm Victor Henry.
Boy, Bulletproof Troop. Billy Clark.
It's ECW Original, The Enforcer, CW Anderson.
This is Honest John.
Hyper Street. Luis Moreno. And it's Mr. Classic.
I'm Jason Punet.
The young ghost.
It's old Hattie Price here.
When I say what's my name, Snipes.
Richie Slade.
My name is Gino Rivera, the Frank Sinatra of the Spanish Mafia.
The incredible one, Anthony Idol.
This is Ken Shamrock.
The Golden Boy, Jordan Clearwater.
Yo, watch and listen.
Championship online.
This is Alex Mars here. Hi, Richard Modest.
So, please listen to it, otherwise be cursed. Okay, see you later, love that dinners.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're now watching and listening to Championship on the Line podcast. I'm joined as always with my brother Rich, my co-host, and I'm Alex. And today we have a very, very special episode. Today we have a wrestler in the house. She's all the way from Ontario, Canada. She's wrestled for promotions like CWF Canada, Revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Miley.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for that plug there.
Oh yeah, oh, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for taking the time. We're so excited and happy to have you on. But before we do get started, we do like to do a quick segment where we ask 10 rapid questions about yourself. Is that cool? We do it for you?
Yeah, sounds fun.
All right, cool. All right, take it away, Rich. Awesome. We'll start right away. First question: what is your favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, Kill Bill.
Oh, nice.
Number one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my
Which
favorite.
Which one's better, the first one or the second one?
The first one. Well,
yeah.
The first one. The first one. Yeah. For sure.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I hope there's a 3. I know there's like rumors. Like I think Quentin says there might be a third one.
If there is, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I really want to see that for sure.
Yeah.
I heard this story where like they're gonna get the kids to fight each other, which I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like any Quentin Tarantino movie is amazing. Kill Bill is just like the number one for me.
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
So good.
Question number 2. Favorite TV show of all time?
I love so many TV shows. Probably at this moment, I would say Workaholics.
Yes, this guy. Woo! I love that show too. So
yeah, I never watched it until this year.
Oh,
ever. And then I watched it. I was like, how the heck did I not watch this before? It's so good.
Same. Yeah, I started watching it towards like the last season that they were playing, and I started watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I watch it like when it first came out?
I know, it's the best show I've ever seen. It's so funny.
Who's your favorite character?
Blake.
Yeah.
For sure, Blake.
Oh yeah, such a great show.
Yeah.
He's underselling it, right? He's just like, yes, we're watching Malfair rave about how great the show is. He loves, I can hear him downstairs just laughing for like an hour straight. Yeah. How he loves the show. It's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
I've actually quoted them in one of my Instagram captions before.
Oh, nice.
My favorite.
And especially like the city it's based out of Rancho Cucamonga. And it's actually the city that Rich and I live in. So it just fits perfectly.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because we'll tell other guests, and then they're like, "Oh, wait, that's a real place." I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's a real place, city. Real city." Yeah,
that's sweet. I didn't know that. Also, didn't know that you guys were from like that far.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, California. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Next, favorite music artist or band you like to listen to?
Favorite music artist? Probably Chance the Rapper.
Nice.
But like acid rap, Chance the Rapper. Like older Chance the Rapper, I kind of fell out after like Coloring Book.
Yeah.
But any of that, I don't know. It's a hard one.
Oh yeah, for sure. You have a favorite song?
I think. Well, I would say Juice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, Juice is up there.
Yeah, nice. Favorite video game?
Favorite video game? I don't really play video games, but recently, like I played a 2-player game with Rodney, my boyfriend, and it's called It Takes Two. That one was super fun.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
A favorite sports team?
I don't watch sports.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't even pretend I have a favorite sports team. Never followed sports.
No worries. We'll go. Favorite meal you like to eat?
Favorite meal?
Yes.
Spaghetti all the time.
Nice.
I live off pasta.
Nice.
It's like meal prep and it's just all spaghetti.
Noodles, yeah.
Not healthy at all. It's just all carbs all the time.
What is your favorite season? Winter, summer, fall, spring?
Fall. Probably fall. I like fall. It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not cold, not too hot.
Yeah, just right.
Yeah.
I can imagine like it's winter right now. Like California, I feel like we're a little like wimps to it. Like now it's cold. The first day everyone's wearing big jackets. I can imagine how like cold it is in Canada.
Yeah, it gets very cold. So like once it gets like cold enough that you do not want to leave your house, like that time of year just sucks.
Yeah.
It's like leaving your house is just awful. You just gotta bundle up all the time and like it's so cold, you just don't want to do anything. It's getting that time of year.
Oh, that's like scary cold. It keeps you indoors.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Nice. Outside of wrestling, do you have a hobby you like to do?
Other than wrestling?
Yes.
I do CrossFit. Yeah, that'd probably be that's my other hobby. CrossFit, and like personal training. I do that.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So kind of like my other side things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a ritual you like to do before entering the ring?
Before entering the ring, I don't know. Honestly, it's gone from like being like super like nervous, like I can't stand still. Like I just can't stop moving. And everyone's like, you look like you're freaking out right now. And I'm like, I'm fine. I just can't stop moving.
Yeah.
Or to just like this complete calm where I'm just like ready to go. I'm kind of like, just hanging out, waiting for my turn. There's no in between.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's just, it's not like nervous, but it's just like you have to be active and just keep moving.
Yeah, like I was at the last Chem Valley show I was at when I was waiting to do my entrance. My trainer, he came up to me while I'm standing there because like I couldn't stop moving. He's like, you okay? And I'm like, I looked at him. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna shit my pants right now. Like I'm losing it. Like not literally, but I was like, I'm just like so anxious right now. And he's like, oh, you know what? He's like, you'll be fine. Just go out there and don't mess up. Just don't mess up. You'll be fine. I'm like, that's great advice.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, I'm like that helps. Just do perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Much.
Yeah, no pressure. Do perfect. I'll be watching.
Awesome. Next, last one. If you could have a match with someone who isn't a wrestler, Could be a celebrity, an athlete, a TV character. Who would it be with?
I've never thought about that. Anybody?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I have. That's a hard question. That's a really hard one because, like, I honestly don't even have like a pick of anyone I could wrestle who I'd want to. I'm like, I'm just going with the flow. I don't have any. Even if I had like my top pick of like anyone, I don't. Maybe Charlotte Flair, but like it would also be terrifying being in the ring with her. Cause like I'm very impressed with Charlotte Flair. Like I love watching her wrestle, but like being in the ring with her would be just so intimidating.
Oh yeah, yeah. With everything she's done in her career,
yeah, like she's just so beyond athletic. I'm like, oh my god, like how can you even compare?
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah,
awesome. Awesome. But again, thank you so much again for joining us here. Really appreciate you taking the time to do this podcast. But first, I want to like get the beginning of your journey. So like, tell us, how did you first get introduced to wrestling? Like, did somebody introduce it to you, or did you find it on your own? Like, how did it all get started for you?
For me, it was my boyfriend, Rodney Matthews. I'm not someone that like, I never watched wrestling growing up. I was never a fan of wrestling. Like I wasn't one of those kids at all. And then I started dating Rodney and he was into wrestling, like obsessed with it. And I never really cared. And then like 2 years into a relationship, he ended up having tickets to a SummerSlam tour and his friend couldn't go with him. So I was like, I'll go. And then I went and I was like, oh, cool. This is pretty awesome. And then I just got into watching it. And then we just watched it like all the time. We kept up on Raw and SmackDown like crazy. And then he started wrestling. And then I started going to all these shows with him. And it was just fun. I was like, okay, this is a pretty fun world to be in. So then I was just like, I was never going to do it. Everyone, like I would tag along. I'd help set up the ring. Like I loved hanging out with everyone at the shows because they were just so much fun. But anyone that asked me like, when are you starting wrestling? I'm like, never. Like I could never do it. I'm not doing it. That's terrifying. And then COVID hit and I was helping him practice a bit and I was like, okay, maybe. And then I started doing some classes with Tyson and I haven't stopped since.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And what made you like fall in love with like the first time actually going to a wrestling show? Like what made you fall in love with it? Like was it the wrestlers, the storytelling, the crowd? Like what made you like fall in love with it?
I think it was the wrestlers. For me, it was like I became like obsessed and like just loved Enzo Amore. Enzo and Big Cass, like they got me hooked. Like that, as someone that I didn't care about wrestling. I didn't know, like, I don't know what kind of moves they're doing. They were hilarious. So like hooking onto them as characters was what got me.
Oh yeah, especially like Rich and I, we got to see Enzo, like do his crew when he was cruiserweight champion. And just the stuff he would say in the mic and the way he would perform, it's like, it's incredible what he can do.
Yeah, he's what got me, was just how good he is on the mic. You can love him and hate him at the same time, and he still has you. Like even if you hate him, you're still kind of a fan of him because he's so like entertaining.
Oh, yeah,
he got me.
But like as of right now, like who is like your favorite wrestler? Like you have one, like who is the top of your list?
The top of my list for my favorite wrestler. Honestly, I haven't been keeping up lately, but I used to be a really big fan of Sasha Banks. Love Sasha Banks and like Charlotte Flair. But yeah, like I haven't really been keeping up at all. So I don't really have like a current one that I'm like really like following. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have one right now.
Okay. But also like, just ask like what school did you train at and who was your coach?
So I trained at the Wrestling Factory. So it's the Tyson Dux Wrestling Factory. When it was open. So I trained there with Tyson. And then now we're training with him privately. So he runs out of Hard Knocks Wrestling Academy right now. So we train there and just kind of privately with him. And yeah, he's just been my number one trainer.
And what was like the first day of like going to wrestling school? Like what was the whole experience like for you, like your first day going there?
My first day, it was the summer, and it was right when like COVID, like the very first time getting out of lockdown, like when lockdown was like super intense and we just got out of it, wrestling started, and it was like so hot. It was like peak summer and we had to wear our masks and there was no wrestling ring. He just had us start with like a ton of conditioning. So it was just like crazy workouts. And then it was just repetitive chain. So like, it was just like 30 minutes of locking up, repeat, lock up, repeat. Like I got bruises and my arm was swollen from like the girl's collarbone just from locking up so much. And it was like masks. It was literally like you were being waterboarded. And it wasn't on purpose. It was literally just because we had to wear masks and it was so damn hot. That was like, that was my starting with wrestling, was that. It was tough.
And what was also like having like, especially like Tyson, such a veteran, he's done so many things. What was it also like working with him and having him as your coach? Like, what was it like working with him?
Working with Tyson, he's amazing. He is such a great trainer in the way of explaining to you why you're doing this movement and how it makes sense. So rather than just like doing something and be like, that looks cool. Like, he's like, okay, do this though. And this is why it makes sense. Like he shows you why you're doing it, what joints you're moving and why it looks so good. And yeah, he's such a great trainer that he goes so in depth, and he just gives you a lot of confidence in things, like just go for it. And then usually you end up doing what he told you to do and you're like, oh crap, I guess I could do that. Yeah.
Was there like an advice or like, advice that he's giving you that about the business or, about wrestling that still keeps with you to today? Like you still think about?
With it, I've never really got like advice from him. I think like we're always just joking around. Like with Tyson, it's just always a joke. We've never had like a serious kind of like getting advice from him. It's always just like train, joke around, train, joking around. But yeah, like my first match, I had my debut and it was because of Tyson. I went to training and I showed up and he was like, hey, like, do you want to have a match at the show? And I was like, are you like, I'm not going to say no, but I was terrified. I was like, I don't think I'm ready. No way. I'm not ready. Like I had a month's notice and like, I had just gotten back from training after another lockdown and just, yeah, he had so much confidence in me. And we showed up at the show and he was also booked and I'm getting ready to go out for my match. And he came up to me and he's like, you should not be having your debut in front of this many people. He didn't realize, he was like, he didn't realize how like the show was packed. Like we were so excited, but like the debut, it was great. It was amazing. And that was just, it felt good. Felt good that like there was the confidence in like putting me on that show. Yeah, but like shit like that, it's just always joking around,
Yeah, because it's crazy because like sometimes you hear other wrestler stories and their first match was like, oh, it was from like 10 people or like 20 people. But the fact that your first match was like a big audience, which is, just crazy.
Yeah.
I could imagine like the nerves going into your first match with like a big audience like that.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. The feeling is like incomparable to anything in my life. It was amazing. And I just got out and, like you just end up getting through it and you're like, oh my God, like I did it. I just did it. And it's like the best feeling ever. And like, once you get out, like it feels like almost like a fever dream. Like you just black out everything. And then all of a sudden you're done and you're like, holy crap, I just went and did that. Like it was nuts. And I was like so stressed out going into it. I was just like memorizing, repeating, like trying to like make sure I could get everything. It was crazy.
It's almost like, cause like recently, I just did my first like ring announcing debut, and just doing that, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Like I was breathing, like I couldn't. I know what you mean. Like it's just crazy because like I just did that, like I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah, and then like once it's done, you're like, okay, I did it. Like I did it. That was fine. But like thinking about doing it, as soon as you're about to, you're like, oh my God. Like it doesn't matter how ready you are. You're like, holy crap, like this is happening. I can't believe this is about to happen. It's a crazy feeling.
But it's an awesome feeling too. Once you're done, you did it. Like it's a pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah. Also, congratulations on your ring announcing debut.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, then, that's awesome.
And Rich is gonna make his manager debut in the next show. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's in the talks. Yeah, because like we grew up like diehard fans, and now like we're doing all this stuff and promoting and doing the podcast, and then like we meet so many people in the business. Like, oh, how about you ring announce today? He's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then they're like telling me, hey, how about if you like work with one of the wrestlers and manage and try it out because you have like great ideas. But I'm like, yeah, ideas, but not for me. And I'm like, okay, like I'll try it out. Like,
yeah, why not?
Yeah. So like when you tell us the story, it's like we hear so many similar like stories where like I'm training one day and then next week, hey, you're making your debut, or you're gonna wrestle this company. Like, wait, like I just showed up to you and just watched the show. And now I'm wrestling. It's just crazy how like in a second you're on.
Yeah, it happens so fast, and you just like, and it's that situation where you're like, well, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna say no to an opportunity, so you're like, okay, I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah. And we hear that too, where like wrestlers are like, oh, I made my debut and I like black out. I didn't realize what I was doing till I got in the ring, got in the hold, like, okay, I'm in the wrestling match. Like, it's a blur, which is like crazy. Do you have that moment where you're like, oh shoot, like I'm in a match now, like now it's real? Did you have that like surreal moment?
Yeah, it was when the ref was checking me. After I had done my entrance and I'm standing in my corner and the ref was checking me, I was like, oh my God, like we're about to do this. I'm about like, the entrance was fine, got through the entrance, and then I got in the ring. I was like, okay, I'm in here now. Like this is happening. Oh my God. And then by the time we got to the end, like I was just so excited. I was like, I did it. Like it's over. Hell yeah. It was, yeah. Yeah, I got that feeling for sure.
I was curious too, from that point, like how much of training have you had to like your debut? Like,
yeah, from my debut. So I had probably, I guess, about 5 months, about 5 months of training. Yeah, it wasn't a crazy amount, and it was split up between lockdowns too. So I trained from like June or July and August, I think was when I trained. And then November, December, and then lockdown. And then I came back in like June, maybe July of this year. And then August was my debut. So I was off from December until this August. And then I was back for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden I was just debuting. And I was like, oh my, like I didn't even have gear. I didn't have gear. I didn't have anything. Like it's like I thought it would be a while.
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, no, but that's also like you said, like Tyson had the confidence to like, so you're ready. I believe in you. Like let's have your debut tonight. That's insane. Like you said, for on and off to have only 5 months of training, that's awesome. Like
It
to hear.
was, yeah, it was crazy. And, you know, having a trainer that like, you can trust him when he has that confidence in you to be like, oh, I guess, like, okay, I guess I can debut.
Did he say anything after the match? Like, was there any words after, you know, your debut?
So his match was like exactly after my match. He was right after. So I was semi-main, and he said something like a few days later, was he loved it because as soon as I got done, I just like ran and like was hugging Rodney. So I was like, me and my boyfriend were just hugging, and we were like kind of standing there just having a moment, and Tyson was trying to get out for his entrance, and he's like squeezing behind us. And he was just telling me about like, he's like, that made me so happy. Like, he's like, going out for a match after seeing you guys embrace like that and just be so proud. He's like, that was like the best thing I could ever have. He was just really happy with just that. Like, he didn't get to see my match because he was getting ready, but yeah, he was really warmed by that moment. And like, I'm glad to hear that.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good community. So I love that.
But even prior to like your first match, was there like, even during training, was there like, you know, video that you would watch from like a specific wrestler to kind of get inspiration to like for your ring style? Was there any footage that you would watch?
I wish I could say yes, but no. No, I didn't. He did send me one match, and I can't for the life of me remember it, but it was awesome. And it was, of course, like from like 80s women's wrestling. But yeah, no, he always knows that like he'll tell me to watch something and I just don't do it. And I don't do it on purpose. But like, I'll be watching wrestling, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll be like, wait, did I just miss something? And they'll have to keep going back and going back. So I have such a hard time watching matches because I want to be able to see every single movement, that if I think I missed something, I can't. It just drives me crazy.
And even even with like promos and even on the mic, is there also footage you watch, or you know, was there notes that like Tyson gave you about mic or mic work?
We did. So when I did start, like when we first started, he did do like, we would do days where we would do promos. So he'd give us people to cut promos on. And we had someone, so he's Ref Matt. He's a ref in the area. He has a lot of experience with that stuff. So he would be there to give us advice, and we cut promos in front of the whole class on like different people, and he'd give us time to plan. Stuff like that. Like, that was always really fun. Just doing the like different side of wrestling. So yeah, that's like my experience with like a promo.
But even recently, even I want to talk about this too, but even like recently you made your debut on CWF Canada. You know, talk about the experience. How did that come about, you having your match over there, and you know, what was the whole experience like wrestling for CWF?
So for CWF, I've wrestled for them a few times now. I made my debut. It was against CC Galvez as well. So it was at CWF with Women's Revolution Wrestling, and it just happened. We've been there before, so I'd gone there before COVID with Rodney and stuff before I wrestled, and then they had asked me like for Revolution if I wanted to ref, and I was like, I'm not comfortable reffing, but I am wrestling now. And then they're like, oh wow, like that's awesome. And then they asked me to come in for the first round for the tournament at CWF, and that was pretty fun. I did have to cut a promo for that, like a live one, which like I was pretty confident going into it. Like for a live promo, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm good, I'll be fine. And then I got out there and I just was like repeating myself, and I was like, oh no, I had way too much confidence in being able to just like talk on the mic. And I was like, I'm repeating the same thing like over and over. I was like, oh my God, I need more work on this. So yeah, I like cut a promo, had the match. And then I wrestled So yeah, I've wrestled Cece Galaviz for CWF. I've wrestled Jody Threat for CWF, Divya, and I'm supposed to be wrestling on January 2nd. Hopefully everything holds up for us.
And also with CWF, it's Chris Thorne, right? That still runs CWF Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was like also working with him?
Working with Chris Thorne is great. Chris Thorne is he's very open to ideas. So while you're planning for the show, things can change in a second. You never really know what's going on until like right before, because things change, and he's just so open to ideas that like I went to a show on Thanksgiving. So we went there. It was Thanksgiving Sunday in Canada, and we showed up, and then I didn't have a match going there. I was just showing up. And then all of a sudden I had a match against Mr. Atlantis, because like Chris Thorne was like, this would be awesome. He's like, I'm going to put you against Mr. Atlantis. So like stuff like that, where you just show up and then all of a sudden you're doing like the funnest kind of matches that you didn't expect to have. He's a fun guy to work for.
Oh yeah. Like I hear stories because like I recently, like I had like Ryan Swift on the podcast. I also had Jesse Bieber on the podcast. And yeah, they always say so many stories about him, and it's just awesome. Especially with CWF too, you know, they're doing big things, especially like recently they had like Alexander wrestling and Cody Deaner. So, you know, it's been really, you know, good for CWF.
Yeah. Oh, it's been awesome. Yeah. Resolution they had was great too. Yeah. And yeah, I was just at their Adrenaline show was that early December? Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I was at Adrenaline. I wrestled Laurel Cassidy on that one. That was fun. But yeah, their shows are amazing. Like their production it's immaculate, and the setup is so fun. Like going and wrestling there is just a blast. It's a really fun environment.
Oh yeah, especially because I see the Adrenaline on YouTube. So I always watch and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was there just to watch it. It just seems like the vibe and everything just seems so cool. You know,
it is.
CWF.
It is. It's a really fun show. Even like going there and just like I said, like showing up, like I wasn't booked, but you know, you still go because it's just so fun. And you know, it's worth going. With how much work they put into the production too, it makes it a good time no matter what.
Oh yeah. And especially also because I also saw the video and I saw your match on YouTube against Cassidy, and I want to ask you too, what was it also like working with her, having a match with her?
I didn't even know that one was up on YouTube yet.
So I think it was on YouTube or on Instagram. Yeah, I saw like a few clips that they were playing.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was up yet. That's awesome. That match was great. I loved wrestling Laurel. She is so fun to work. I love like the contrast in our colors. Like that was was awesome. Like meeting another like women's wrestler that I feel like is kind of like on the same like wavelength as me, where we're both like super bright and vibrant, and then like just opposite ways. It was super fun to work with her. She was a lovely person. I loved working with Laurel.
And especially with now, you know, who is in your list? Like, who would you like to work with in the future?
Going on in the future, like I would love to work with anyone. I believe January 2nd, I'll be working with Cece Moss. That'll be super exciting. Nice. I've never worked her before. So working with her will be fun. I'm excited. It's always fun working new people that you've never worked with. It's always an experience. I've worked Becky Nix. She had her wrestling debut at the Hammerlock show. So I got to work her for her debut, which was really fun. I'd love to work her again. Anyone I've already worked, like I just want to work them again. I always have so much fun where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to have another match with them. And like Cece Galaviz, I've had so many matches with her already, and I've hardly started. So like, you know, anyone that I've already worked, I want to work again.
and especially, you know, now, you know, women's wrestling is, you know, especially Rich and I were watching it back in, you know, 2006, 2005, Ruthless Aggression days. but now, you know, women's wrestling is, you know, on the rise, you know, so the highest it's probably ever been. What are your thoughts, especially with now, you know, every promotion like Impact, NWA, AEW, or even doing pay-per-views just on women's wrestling? What are your thoughts on it today and how, you know, how it's gone up now recently?
Like the way that it's gotten up, I love how much more intense the women are. Like it's not just like, you know, hair pulling and you know, drama. Like it's actually like it's wrestling. Like it's gone from just being just like get in the ring and roll around to like, no, you're gonna like, it's real wrestling.
Yeah.
That on its own is yeah, that's the best part, is just kind of feeling like you can do exactly what the guys are doing. It's not just like you're just going out as like, you know, the you know, the little fun piece in between the other matches. Like coming along that far, I feel like is huge on its own.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree. And also, you know, want to get your opinion, but what is your thoughts, especially with intergender wrestling? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
I love intergender wrestling. I love it. I think it's great. Like, obviously, on the side of logistics, and depending on what kind of fan you are, if you're a fan where you want it to be more realistic, obviously intergender wrestling isn't always going to be that for you. But as a wrestler, I love doing it. The majority of people that I train with are men, and it's fun. They bring different things to the table than working with women, because they're, you know, a lot of the women are the same size. So with men, you get a lot more of a variety when it comes to it. And also, but like, even like I had a match with Mr. Atlantis, and seeing the way a crowd pops for seeing a man and a woman like get into it, and, you know, even like exchanging like words. I love that. It gets such a different reaction.
Oh yeah. And especially with now, you know, because like the only company I can really think of that's actually has been doing that a lot is Impact Wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
Which is also really cool, because even like with watching matches, even like Tessa Blanchard, when she was the champion and she was having all these great matches with all these people, it just shows, you know, this is not how it was back then. Now it's, you know, women's wrestling, you know, are wrestlers, and they can do the same things as men, you know, even better.
Yeah, like seeing, you know, the athletics. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's all about how athletic you are and like how knowledgeable you are about what you're doing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then, you know, with now, you know, what is your goal? Like, what promotion or where would you like to wrestle? Is there like a company that you'd like to sign with in the future?
I mean, like the goal would just be making it my full-time career. But overall, as long as I'm having fun, I'm happy. Like, I'm not gonna be upset if I don't make it in wrestling. I just want to have fun, because for me, this is like the funnest thing in the world, and just being with your friends is the best. If I were to get signed with a company, like I would love, you know, Impact or AEW would be amazing. Of course, WWE would be great too, but I mean, I like that AEW will let you work other promotions as well. So for me, if it were like one of those big televised promotions, it'd be Impact or AEW for me would be great. That'd be the goal.
Oh, nice. Awesome. And then with my, you know, last question, if someone's watching this and wants to become a professional wrestler, what advice could you give to someone that wants to pursue in this business?
Advice would probably be just do it. Like, it's challenging, but everything's challenging. There's no reason to not try it out. Like, worst case, you decide it's too hard for you, but until you try it, like, you don't know. And like, you may end up just being freaking amazing at it. Like, I was terrified. I was like the kind of person that I didn't even do a flip on a trampoline. And now I'm wrestling and I'm like taking bumps and like suplexes and stuff. And that was something that I wouldn't do that on a trampoline. So things that you think you should write off for yourself because you think you can't do it, just screw it and try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So worth it.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, great. But yeah, I agree because like even like Rich and I will go to shows, and I always just like think like I can never do that. I can never ring an announcer. I don't even have the voice for like I can never do it. And then when I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, like
Yeah, you just gotta do it.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with Rich is gonna do he's gonna make his debut as a manager. Is there any advice you can give to him that's gonna be a manager that you can give to him?
Yeah. For me as a manager, I'm bringing out my inner Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
That's all I can think is like when I manage Rodney Matthews, I have rings on my fingers. My hands are so swollen from clapping and like keeping that crowd going that I can't get my rings back on. My voice is gone. Like, keep the energy up, keep the crowd going, and just overall expressions, facial expressions for everything. Paul Heyman it. Get your eyes going, like fucking lose your mind with your expressions. That's all I think of is just Paul Heyman.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, because we've been watching like different like videos on YouTube, and Alex was saying you gotta check Paul Heyman, and he was saying Jim Cornette and other names. And when I saw Paul Heyman, I'm like, what you said, like his expressions, like he's just in ringside, but he gets so much attention and so much like hate towards him, like it works out. Like even him just slamming his hands on the canvas, he's like getting all his attention, which is like awesome.
Yeah. He can get so much across in just his facial expressions and reacting to everything that's happening. Like even if you're not the one people are watching, pretend you are with the way you're reacting. Like it doesn't even matter. Like drop to your knees, like you're losing your mind, go ballistic.
Mm-hmm. So like exactly,
just keep
like,
the energy up.
No, for sure. I appreciate it. No, you saying that right now, I'm picturing when Lesnar defeated Undertaker at WrestleMania and like Heyman's expression where his hands were against his face and he couldn't believe it. Like that, I remember that more than like the finish, just his reaction. Yeah. Because even he said like, I'm, you're managing, you have to be like the ultimate fan. He's like, he's your guy. So you have to have like, your reaction has to be like 10 times more than the fans, which is true.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And like, even if you don't think people are watching you, people are watching you.
Yeah.
Have a reaction. Always have some reaction.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And good luck. I'm sure you'll do great.
I appreciate it.
It's a really fun thing to do. So you're just you get to be a hype man, and that's the best.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Miley, for being on this podcast. We had so much fun. Just thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast. It's nice meeting you, by the way.
Oh, awesome. And then before we wrap up, is there any you want to plug in anything social media where the fans can follow you?
If you go to on Instagram at Miley the Wrestler, you can find me. Promotions, I'll be working Chem Valley, Hammerlock Wrestling. Go follow Hard Knocks Wrestling. Hard Knocks Wrestling Academy is amazing. Great place to go and train. That's all I got.
Awesome. Well, there you go. And again, I'll put everything in the description down below where you can follow her and please support her. All right, because she's doing big things in Canada. So she's going to go all the way to the top. And again, thank you so much. And also thank you for you guys for watching and listening. And we will see you guys next time here on Championship Online Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks so much.